matters. And today, we're getting into a really crucial piece of source material you sent over, the Europe East Today brief. It's their week in progress look from September 13th, 2025. So we're dropping right into the middle of these Russia-Belarus Zapad drills. Our mission, like always, is to pull out the key takeaways, give you that shortcut to really understanding what's happening in a pretty complex situation.
Yeah, and what jumps out immediately, I think, is that this report focuses right on day 2 of the Zapad window. It sets a baseline straight away, even with the drills going on, the flank holds.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking headlines. We're going to explore what that actually means, this calm but really vigilant resilience, getting into the details behind that statement.
The flank holds.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite a statement. And when you look at the report, you start to see why. It talks about Zapad not as some huge roar, but more like a humming operation.
Yeah.
So consistent, controlled. It suggests the region is dealing with something steady, ongoing, rather than dramatic crises or breaches.
Yeah.
Almost sounds like a new normal.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. And if you zoom out a bit, the report's main message seems pretty clear. Deterrence is routine now. The value, it suggests, isn't in big reactions, but in boring repetition, keeping those layers on, crews rested. This doesn't feel like a temporary alert status. It feels like a sustained, almost, business as usual way of operating. Being ready isn't just for crises anymore, it's constant.
Business as usual readiness. That's really striking phrase in this context, almost a bit unsettling. But what does that actually look like on the ground? Does it change how resources are used or how people feel? I mean, what are the sort of subtle impacts on folks just living their lives near these borders when this becomes the backdrop?
That's a great question. It's a big shift, and it touches on all those things. Resources, for sure, it's less about emergency buys, more about sustained upkeep, maintenance, and psychologically, people living with this constant background hum, they adapt. It's not panic necessarily, but maybe a recalibration, knowing their governments are always operating with these layers on.
Yeah.
It becomes about resilience being woven into daily life, into how the state functions, not just reacting when something big happens.
Okay, so this routine deterrence.
Yeah.
How are these border states actually keeping the mesh tight, as the report puts it? It mentions some specific defense measures that seem to go beyond just boots on the ground.
Right. It's definitely multi-layered. They talk about constant, thick combat air patrols, CKPs keeping watch, plus really efficient quick-scramble rules for their air defense, ready to go instantly. And these timed checks at sensitive crossings, well, it sounds structured, planned, not like a frantic reaction.
It's, methodical. And the report then breaks it down by region, which gives a clearer picture of this mesh. For Poland and the Baltics, it says, no fresh airspace breaches overnight. Their alert posture, unchanged. Their AWACS, those flying radar stations and the quick reaction load jets, the QRA rotations, they're staying dense. Sounds like constant vigilance.
Exactly. It signals consistency. Even with the drills happening next door, the defenses are solid, designed to spot and challenge anything immediately. And that word dense is important. It implies continuous coverage without burning out their resources, sustainable readiness.
Then you move south, Romania, Bulgaria, the Black Sea, a slightly different focus there. They're monitoring UAV tracks, drones along the sea approaches. And their mine countermeasures, MCM, and coastal radar are on a high cycle, covering sea and air.
That's right. The geography is different there, so the priorities shift a bit. Watching for drones is obviously huge now. And keeping MCM and radar active is about securing those sea lanes, keeping trade flowing, which is vital down there.
Okay, now this is where, for me, it gets really interesting because it steps outside traditional military stuff.
Yeah.
Czechia, Slovakia, Hungary. Yes, force protection is up at air bases, but the report highlights that intel cells ride shotgun on misinformation spikes. Riding shotgun on misinformation. What does that actually mean day to day?
It means the battlefield has clearly expanded into the information space, no question. It's about being proactive, finding, analyzing, and pushing back against narratives designed to destabilize things, create doubt, maybe provoke a response. These intel cells are like digital guards, trying to keep the information environment as secure as the physical borders. It's a recognition that modern conflict isn't just fought with hardware, but with narratives and data, too.
That makes total sense. And speaking of things you can't easily see, scrolling through this report, something else jumped out. This mention of EW GNSS noise, as it pops up in evening windows from the Baltics to the Black Sea. For listeners maybe not up on electronic warfare, what is that? And why should we care about, noise?
Right. This is super important and often overlooked. EW is electronic warfare, and GNSS is your global navigation satellite systems. Think GPS, Galileo, etc. They're fundamental now.
Yeah.
So EW GNSS noise usually means deliberate jamming or maybe spoofing, feeding false signals to disrupt navigation. And it's not just a technical glitch. The report flags it as a real navigation risk. It explicitly says this evening, EW GNSS noise can mess with trucking, aviation, and drones.
Wow. So this isn't just military planners worrying. This could actually affect, your package delivery, maybe flights, anyone relying on GPS, which is almost everyone in transport and logistics, if your GPS just goes wonky or cuts out.
Exactly. It means, as the report puts it, needing to brief your degraded mode SOPs, your standard operating procedures. Basically, you need backup plans for when the tech fails. Think about truckers, pilots, suddenly having to rely on older methods, maybe even paper maps again. It's kind of a throwback, isn't it? How quickly do you need to remember how to navigate without GPS? Shows how deeply embedded these systems are and how easily they can be, messed with.
Yeah, it really makes you think. And it's not just the electronic signals being disrupted. The report also points to the information battle, the info ops. It says, coordinated narratives probing NATO escalation spotted.
Yeah.
And warns to expect repeat on weekend nights. That sounds very deliberate. Testing messages, probing reactions.
Oh, absolutely. And the timing is key, isn't it? Weekend nights, they're banking on lower public attention then. A chance to test narratives, see what gets traction, maybe sow some discord when people aren't glued to the news cycle Monday to Friday. It's calculated, looking for weak spots in public understanding or opinion.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit to how countries are responding proactively. Investing. The report mentions that capitals start queuing buys for early EU safe tranches.
Yeah.
Sensors, jammers, SORAD, spares. Can you unpack that? What are these EU safe tranches, and why is this queuing important now?
Right, so EU SAFE is the European Union Security Assistance Fund. It's a newer way for member states to pool resources and buy defense kit. These tranches are just rounds of funding allocation, and the crucial part, highlighted in the report's Why It Matters section, is cached capability. It's basically saying there's money available, but early safe spend will reward states that have shovel-ready counter-UAS packages, UAS being unmanned aerial systems, drones. So it's not just about getting the funding application in, it's about having concrete, ready-to-go plans, especially for counter-drone tech, which everyone needs now. Speed matters, turning cash into actual capability quickly.
Got it. So it rewards preparedness, being ready to actually use the money effectively. And that ties right into the what to watch section for the next 72 hours. It says watch the safe sequencing, which capitals publish program shortlists first, sensors versus SERAD versus munitions. So we should pay attention to what they choose to buy first, detection, defense, or ammo.
Precisely. That order tells you a lot about their immediate priorities. Are they focusing on seeing the threat, first the sensors, or on immediate close-in defense airshad, short-range air defense, or stocking up on things that go boom munitions? It gives you a little window into how each country sees the current threat and their tactical approach, especially against drones.
Makes sense. But this deep dive isn't just about military stuff and procurement lists. The report also shows how these drills kind of ripple outwards, affecting everyday things, the economy, energy, just getting around. It touches everyone, like on the energy front, always a worry in that part of the world. The grid section says interconnectors smooth wind lulls, no systemic stress reported. So the lights are staying on, power infrastructure seems stable. That's good news, a sign of resilience.
Yes, that's a key stability indicator. But there are definitely localized economic pains. The report mentions diesel premia near frontier corridors, so fuel costs are higher near the borders, and transport companies are pricing a Zapad buffer into their quotes. That's not abstract. That's a real cost for businesses and eventually for you, the consumer. Higher transport costs mean higher prices for goods. It's tangible.
Right, a direct cost.
Right.
And for people actually traveling or moving goods, the Belarus borders, the BY frontiers, are seeing tight checks and occasional closures. Delays of plus 60, 120 minutes into ETAs, plus rail intermodal shoulder overflow. Sounds like significant disruption. But importantly, the Ukraine crossings seem different. Stable with spot inspections, humanitarian lanes prioritized.
Yeah, that distinction is really important. It shows they're trying to manage security tightly, but still prioritize humanitarian needs where the Ukraine border is concerned. That's a crucial balance. And while airports are ops normal things running as usual, they have NOTAM-ready playbooks if mass raids return. NOTAMs are those notices to airmen, alerts about hazards or changes. So even during normal ops, they're poised to react instantly if things escalate drastically. It's back to that business as usual readiness idea again. Always ready.
Okay, so pulling this all together,
Yeah.
what does it mean for the next few days? The sources give us some pretty clear things to watch, kind of a checklist for you to track how this unfolds.
Well, beyond that safe funding sequencing we talked about, the report specifically points to watching Zapad nights, looking for repeat probes, spoofing jamming hotspots, and any Belarus side launches. These are the, concrete signs of ongoing activity or maybe shifts in tactics, the day-to-day pulse of this situation.
And then there are the broader economic signals to keep an eye on, too. Monday EU data will steer local front-end yields for PLN UFRON. So we're talking Polish zloty, Hungarian forint, Romanian leu, how the financial markets react to the security situation and upcoming economic data.
Right. It just connects all the dots, doesn't it? How tightly linked security, technology like EW, and big macroeconomic factors are here. It's this complex web where military drills, even described as just humming, have these immediate measurable effects on money, on movement, on daily life. It's a really stark reminder that none of these things happen in isolation. Everything's connected.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground. How deterrence is maybe becoming routine now. Those hidden risks from electronic warfare impacting navigation, the crucial investments in counter-drone tech, and just how these drills ripple out, affecting borders, costs, the whole economy.
And I think that sign-off in the report sums it up well. The story, it says, by design, stays the same. Quiet skies, thicker nets, honest buffers. It's about keeping those weekend ops in winter mode, sustained readiness. Because, as it concludes, steady hands beat flashy headlines. It values consistency and resilience over drama.
Steady hands beat flashy headlines. I like that. But it leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? If deterrence is routine now, if the goal is boring repetition and constant low-level vigilance, what does that mean long-term? For the stability, for how safe people feel in the region? How do societies, how do economies really adapt when this level of readiness, this winter mode, becomes the new normal, not just a phase? Something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring.